Hi there, and welcome to Discipleship Minutes, brought to you by Revelation Radio and Water Springs Discipleship School. It's our heart that you would be blessed by these few moments in God's Word and challenged to go deeper in your walk with God. And now, with today's Discipleship Minutes, here's Alipio Amaral.
If I wrote to you a letter about Portugal, you would expect to find the word Portugal repeated. Maybe in my introductory paragraph, I wrote, "Portugal's great. I love Portugal." Maybe in a following paragraph, I began to talk to you about Portuguese beaches and Portuguese waves and the way they make Portuguese surfboards so strong. And maybe in a following paragraph, I told you about the Portuguese language. And then in the closing paragraph, I said, "I hope that you come to Portugal." You would know that my letter to you was about a Suzuki, right? Of course not. You would know that my letter was about a car. No. You would know that my letter was about a camera, right? No, you would know that my letter was about Portugal because I used the word repeatedly in my letter to you. You would know that I'm writing to you about Portugal. Well, the authors of the Bible do the same thing. When they want you to understand clearly what it is they're talking about, they will repeat a word repeatedly. When we turn to the first book of the Bible, Genesis, in the very first chapter of the book, chapter 1, we find a word repeated in every verse, at least once, depending on your version. And that word is God, his name, God. It repeats over and over and over again, and that may sound simple, but it means that the first chapter of Genesis is about God. And it takes place in the context of creation. And what we see God doing in the first chapter of Genesis is taking two things, the heaven and the earth, that are in a disharmonious relationship. They are tohu vabohu in the Hebrew. That means disharmonious, dysfunctional, void, fruitless. This is a relationship that God is not satisfied with. And so what he does over the course of 6 days is he inserts his energy, his word. Through time and effort, he brings these things, these two things, the heaven and the earth, into a relationship that is harmonious, that functions because the birds are in the air, not the sea, and the fish are in the water, not the dirt. It functions. It functions properly. And ultimately will bear fruit because the seed is in the plant. You see this as he creates things day after day, invests energy and effort into things day after day, and he brings it to a place that on the seventh day, well, he's calling it good the whole time. It's good, it's good, it's good. He's bringing this disharmonious relationship into a place that is good in his sight, that functions properly, and that bears fruit ultimately. And on the seventh day, everyone knows God rested. God rested. God doesn't need a nap. He doesn't get tired. He's God. What would make him tired? I don't know. God doesn't get tired. It says that God rested. God doesn't get tired. The word rested is an exercising of the law of continuity. It means it's like a synonym for the word satisfaction. It means God is now satisfied with the relationship that he has taken from dysfunctionality and disharmony into a place of harmony and function and fruit. And he says, that's good in my sight. And I'm satisfied with that. And it's at that point that God blesses it. See, God doesn't bless the relationship that is tohu vabohu. God doesn't bless the relationship that he is dissatisfied with. And that means that if you and I have any relationships that are disharmonious, dysfunctional, that are not fruitful, God's not satisfied with those relationships, and God will not bless those relationships. You may be satisfied with dysfunctional and disharmonious relationships in your life, but God is not satisfied with those relationships. And God will take the disharmonious and dysfunctional relationships that are in your life, and he will bring them into a place that is good in his sight, that functions properly, and that bears fruit ultimately.
Thanks for listening to Discipleship Minutes, brought to you by Water Springs Discipleship School and Revelation Radio. For the studio recording or for more information about Water Springs Discipleship School, you can click the videos link under On the Air at revelationradio.fm or go to watersprings.net/WDS. Thanks for listening. Be sure to join us again next time for Discipleship Minutes.